Okay. So I did a reading the other day, and it has come to my attention that perhaps I was a bit too judgy and that I cut off the readings too early. So, um, Spirit basically grabbed me by the ear and is sitting me down and is like, do it again. So, here we go. Um, Songs from like the late 90s, early 2000s are coming through, and not the great ones. Um, Nickelback, Evanescence, Three Doors Down. So, let me give you some excerpts, eh? Um, it's not like you to say sorry. I was waiting on a different story. This time I'm mistaken for handing you a heart worth breaking. And I've been wrong. I've been down to the bottom of every bottle. These 5 words in my head. Are we having fun yet? Yet? No. Evanescence. Oh, no, wait. This one's Duran Duran. Can't ever keep from falling apart at the seams. Can I believe you're taking my heart to pieces? It'll take a little time, might take a little crime to come undone. Now we'll try to stay blind to the hope and fear outside. Hey, child, stay wilder than the wind and blow me into cry. Who do you need? Who do you love when you've come undone? I'm so tired of being here, suppressed by all my childish fears. And if you have to leave, I wish you would just leave, because your presence still lingers here and it won't leave me alone. These wounds won't seem to heal. This pain is just too real. There's just too much that time cannot erase. 100 days that made me older since the last time that I saw your pretty face. 1,000 eyes have made me colder, and I don't think I can look at this the same. But all the miles that separate, they disappear now when I'm dreaming of your face. I'm here without you, baby, but you're still on my lonely mind. I think about you, and I dream about you all the time. I'm here without you, but you're still with me in my dreams, and tonight, it's only you and me. Wouldn't you know, it's been like 120 days since the beginning of the year. So, sometime in January, December, January, was when this person was last. This masculine was last with their person. So, I was too judgy. I inserted myself into the story, and I got pissed. It's not for my place to say. I just took it from my perspective. I apologize. And for those of you watching, the masculine collective that I tap into is extremely sensitive. They're very tender-hearted. And life has not been easy for them. So, anyway. Flock together. Birds of a feather flock together. Tend the fragile. This is a reminder for me, I think, as I'm tapping into this, is that I'm tapping into a collective. And to remind you that you are part of a collective. Everyone's story is a little different, but there's more than just one of you. There's other people in their masculine energy who have been ignited from within, and now their current life doesn't fit. Okay, sorry about that. But you are a collective. There's more than just one of you that's experiencing what you're going through. And remember to stand tall. What you're going through isn't easy. And the way I feel your energy, you're very much alone in this. It feels like you've lost almost everything. Keep in mind, some of that's because you were so stubborn. But that doesn't take away the fact that the reason you were stubborn is because you didn't want to lose the things you lost. And that's okay. And so, and then I just want to say real fast, when I think of masculine and feminine energy, I just think of it as like you can be in a feminine vessel like I am, or a masculine vessel, and you can be in either your masculine or feminine energy as like your kind of energetic outpouring. So for example, feminine energy, so think of like so like Empress energy would be like the pinnacle, or just queen. Let's just go with a queen. Queens sit on their throne. They're beckoning. They do not run. You come to them. Yes? And a king is in pursuit. A king is commanding. He understands what he wants and he has a plan. Okay? Kings are more action oriented. Feminine is more receiving, alluring. If you like to be chased, you're in your feminine energy. If you are in pursuit, you are in your masculine energy. We have both within us. It's just one's more your outward facing than the other. And you can be different ones at different times, depending upon what the situation calls for. That's what the concept is of healing completely, so that the yin and yang inside of yourself is complete. Otherwise, it's turned on its side, and you have one that's kind of outward facing. You want it to be both. You want to be able to slide between the two at will. Makes life more fun, more rich. Nobody likes to be boxed in. Anyway, but that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking to a masculine collective. Both people that identify as male, but also people who are in their masculine energy. Whichever suits you. Anyway. Think about you, baby. You're still with me in my dreams. And tonight, girl, it's only me. Court the too good to be true. I think for you, this feminine was the bee's knees, as we say. Too good to be true. And in your mind, she remains. But if the songs are any indicator, she has not been in your life for a while, at least 100 days, thereabouts. So, some of these cards are backwards. Soulmate, finance, and career. This feels like this is the person and this is what's in the way. Or at least that's how you perceive it. Bottom of the deck is very soon. Clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. Passion. Past life relationship. That's what this feels like. Finance and career coming up again. Feels extremely disruptive to the life that you had planned on. Or think the image of the life that you had planned on. You have known each other before. Look at this picture. That's very hot and steamy. And not all the pictures are like that, you know. But that one sure is. I'm reading in a weird way. I think that's just the energy I must be picking up on. Because it's just like, I was just telling my husband, he's like, what are you doing in here? And I'm like, I was like, if I don't get this reading out, I'm gonna like claw my skin off. Let's see. Okay. Since I was talking about yin yang, let's go with yin yang for a little bit. I want to talk about you, and then we'll talk about your feminine, because I know you want me to. I want to talk about that second, though, because remember, this journey is really about you. That's the hard part about being in masculine energy, is you're in pursuit. If you're in a wounded masculine energy, then you want to be pursued. Wanting to be desired and wanting to be pursued are two different things. You know, desire is where you're on somebody's mind. Being pursued is like wanting people to obsess over you, staring at their phone, type of thing. Stability. Trying to balance, juggling, uncertainty, stressful choices, chaos. I get this feeling of like trying to be tactical in how you move through the world, thinking about every step you take. You must be in the public eye. In some way. Which would make sense. You know, like one of my deepest fears is publicity. Which, if my collective is opposite of me, then that would mean that you don't have that issue. You like attention. Structure. Wants to build a foundation, balance, building slow and steady, forming. Wants to build a foundation and balance, trying to balance. Structure and stability. You're trying very hard to create some sort of a... I get the sense that you're trying to kind of ground, but more than just grounding yourself energetically, you're trying to ground yourself in the physical realm through maybe routines. Watching, spying, dream messages. gathering info, trying to figure you out, keeping tabs, telepathy, 5D communication, astral travel, spirit guides, and signs. I see this both ways. I see one that you're keeping close tabs on this person online, or in whatever way. Like maybe you've hired somebody that's a little creepy, but okay. I'm not judging. I'm not gonna judge some girls like that. But you know, like trying to understand what's going on. I also feel like you're trying to send messages in their dreams. Like you're trying to astral travel. You're trying to meet them in the astral realm. I wonder if you're successful. Feminine energy, intuitive, nurturing, creative, wounded. This is it. Look how they both look so similar. They're sleeping. They're sleeping and you're watching. Oh, baby. You are obsessed. You are obsessed. Can't deny, girl, it's only you and me. Cold and controlled. Silent. Observing. Hiding. Hiding feelings. Secretive. Blocking emotions and masking. See what I see? Watching from a distance. And I get the sense with this watching in the distance that you're watching behind structure and stability. Okay. It's funny, I was like, I want to talk about you. We'll talk about her later. I guess you're just going to make me do it, huh? Because these yin and yang cards have lots of not romantic messages in them. Right. The only ones that are coming out right now are about somebody else. Oh, geez, that's way too much. Temptation. Mars. Clarity, summer, fate. Receive, doubts. I'll take all of these. Okay. So, temptation and Mars. Temptation, and this says passion and lust. Hot. Like her face is very, the lip color in Mars. Deception, make wise choices. I was talking last time about, sorry, it's like every time I look at myself I realize I'm slouching. I was talking last time about that, like I felt like you were being tempted by something and I was being kind of judgmental about it, but you are conceding that you were tempted. I don't know if it went any further than just being tempted. Sorry, my cat just came in. Okay, but you received, here we go. Somehow or the other, you received some sort of clarity about your fate. And you have your doubts. You have your doubts. But something about the summer, and we've gotten this one before for you guys. Something about the summer, this timing card has come out a few times. Activity, goals, progress, life force energy, new pet, or turns. Turns in the energy. Heightened intuition, seeing things. Wheel of Fortune, karma, divine intervention, divine timing. Okay. Let me just say this. If you are delving into yourself, delving into your temptations, your shadow self, meaning like the parts of you that you hold some shame for. Kitty is being weird. But if you're holding some sort of, you gonna sit on my cards, dude? Oh my goodness. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Okay. A lot of times the way we learn is through making the same mistakes that we used to make, but this time we learn from them. Because it's not like you awaken and then all of a sudden you know all the right answers. All of those old habits are there. All of those, it's like muscle memory that you just move through your day. You do the things. You go for the temptations, you know, whatever it is. But this time, or maybe the last couple of times you've done this, it fell flat. It didn't feel right. Because now you've got somebody else, you know? And this is the one you want. And this is the one you were with. And it doesn't feel good. Maybe it's like a physical outlet, but it doesn't satiate, it doesn't stay, it doesn't satisfy. And that's part of the process. That is part of the process. It doesn't mean that you've backslid. It doesn't mean that you're a complete fuck up. It doesn't mean that you haven't made any progress. The progress is in noticing that it doesn't satisfy you, that it doesn't fill you up. And then perhaps next time when you're presented with that opportunity again, you decline or you react differently or whatever it is. You know, like, for example, if the thing that you're trying to grow from is losing your temper, the first thing is realizing that you are responsible for losing your temper. If somebody else doesn't make you mad, you get angry and then you lose your temper. That's your choice. Being angry is just your body reacting and telling you that something's not fair and you need to stick up for yourself. But the way in which you decide to stick up for yourself is what determines how healthy you are to be around. Like if you're an emotionally safe person. So when we're talking about these mistakes, sometimes you have to make them again and again, but you're making them in a different mind frame. You're mapping a new map inside your head of these are the things that I do that I like about myself. These are the things I do that I don't like. Can I change these things that I don't like? If the answer is yes, then you work on changing them. If the answer is no, then you dismantle them and figure out how they can be useful. Okay? So like, for example, anger. Anger has lots of uses. Anger is telling you to stick up for yourself. And so the thing you have to realize is sometimes you're not sticking up for yourself against the person who actually made you angry. You're losing your temper against somebody who is safe to lose your temper with. So it's like, you know, the military is a very common example of something like this, where they're getting yelled at by a superior officer who makes them angry. They bottle that anger up, they come home, and then they release it on their wives, right? That's unhealthy. So, like, if that's something that's happening to you, like if your boss is yelling at you, if something's happening, if somebody's pissing you off that's in a what you perceive as a superior position to you, and then you're releasing it out on somebody else, that's something that you need to correct. But you don't know that you need to correct it unless you are in the mindset to notice the karmic loop that you've created. you now notice that you sever relationships with good people because you are mad at them for the problems that somebody else caused in your life or that you allowed to be caused, right? So you are able to stop that channel of negative energy from hitting your relationship with another person because now you're able to address it where it needs to go. Okay? That's why people leave, is because if they can't get you to acknowledge your part that you play in what hurts them, then they leave you. Okay? And that may be what's happening here, is that you were left. Lovers. You were left. And it wasn't because of lack of love. It was because you hurt them. And if they love themselves, they will take care of themselves because you weren't taking care of them. Okay? This is why you're doing this work. This is why it feels like you're not getting anywhere, but you are. You are definitely getting somewhere. Because noticing is the biggest part. Noticing it, and then bit by bit, you do something about it. And it takes practice. It takes practice. Like, I remember one of the first times I ever noticed that something was changing was when I was walking by my mom's bedroom, because she lives with us now, because I'm, taking care of her and that kind of stuff. And I heard her cough, and the cough did not sound good. And so the next person to talk to me, which wasn't her, I immediately barked at them. And I realized that the only reason that I barked was because I must have been heightened in some way. And I was like, what just heightened me? And then I thought back and I was like, I'm worried about my mom. That cough didn't sound good. So I immediately turned around and I went to go see her, and I was like, we need to schedule an appointment right now. We did. She had pneumonia, she got antibiotics, everything was fine. But it was me overriding my body, and then it came out in the wrong way, at the wrong person, at the wrong time. The closer you can tighten that delay between your body being like, something's not okay, and you doing something about it, the better you feel on the inside. And so, but you can't do that if you're not noticing it. And that's part of what people talk about when they say people are awake or people are asleep. It's not just about spirituality. It's about noticing things. It's not just noticing 11:11 on the clock. It's noticing your own toxic behaviors that cause negative feedback loops in your life. You have control over the energetic feedback that you are receiving in your life as an adult. Children don't get this privilege, which is why they need to be treated as precious. But as an adult, you get to decide. And if things are feeling empty right now, it's okay. Because in stillness, in silence, is when you can hear a pin drop. And you need that right now. You need to be able to hear the small, subtle shifts in your body that are letting you know yes to this and no to this. This is the in-between. And while you may be getting downloads and you may be feeling really excited about what you feel like is starting to bubble up as new capabilities, you also have to remember that you have to integrate some of this stuff. Okay? I hope this was a better reading. I love you and I believe in you. You can do it, okay? Just keep trying.